Hey guys, Tyler McKinney back here again, and I'm glad to have you back. Now this time I want to talk about the college football playoffs, but I want to put a little bit of a different spin on it this time. This time I'm not going to talk about what teams I think should be in it, but really how I think things should be laid out and how things should be done. Now, if you have heard, there's been kind of some discussion that's been floating around about the college football playoffs and whether or not that they should be expanded, which I do believe that they should be expanded to 8 teams. But the thing that I'm most intrigued about is expanding the college football playoff and adding a new playoff to it, having 2 playoffs, having the Power 5 conference playoffs, and having a group of 5 playoffs. Now, listen to me as I explain kind of my idea and my thoughts about it. So, first, I want to just kind of delve into, so there's been a lot of discussion of late, kind of with, people from different conferences and different things, and people have been talking about whether or not that's a good idea. I think some people have thrown it out that, because the fact of the matter is right now, the way that things are set up, the Power 5 conferences, really only the teams that are in those conferences really have a legitimate shot at actually getting in to the college football playoff. The group of 5 teams in those 5 conferences don't have a shot at all. So they're realistically not going to get a shot. So if you're playing for them, you really can't play for a national championship, which is fine. You can play for a bowl, and they've got, they are guaranteed, the highest ranked one at the end of the season is guaranteed a New Year's Day bowl game. So we've got that. They're guaranteed one of those major bowl spots, and that which is totally fine, throwing them a bone or whatever. But wouldn't it be interesting and wouldn't it be cool if they had their own playoff? Now, I know there's been some people out there, whether it be the commissioner of the SEC and people saying, you say that now, but pump your brakes. We don't know what that will all get into. I don't know what that'll all get into. It might be something that. Frankly, I don't think it'll hurt college football. Actually, I personally feel like it would only make things better. It gives those group of 5 teams a little bit more to play for, and it gives us a lot more to talk about. I mean, if it makes me, watching a Mountain West game a little bit more interesting, if I know that something's on the line. Got a championship or something like that they can play for. I mean, that's a little bit more there, and I think that would be really cool. I mean, think about this, okay? So let's look at it, and let's kind of, if you would with me, let's go ahead and let's dream this up and let's really look into it. So let's say we take our college football playoff that we have now. Let's expand it to 8 teams, and let's say that each one of the conference winners gets an automatic bid. You win your conference, you're in. I like that. So nobody's got an excuse for not making it in because they had a perfect opportunity, perfect chance to win their conference championship game, and get into the playoffs. I love that. I like that. Keep the bowls the way they are, and let's make some of those bowl games. Let's make them, your quarterfinal games, and then let's just go into that kind of like they do with the college basketball tournament. Make it the Final Four. Go from there and do that. Okay, so you got your 8 teams. You got your 5 that make it in because they're automatic bids, and then you've got 3 that the committee picks, and then they put them in whatever order they want, and then the teams play. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be great. Now, let's add into that the group of 5 teams. So let's take those 5 conferences, and let's do the same thing. You win your conference, you're in. So you got 5 automatic bids. That means that the college football playoff committee gets to choose 3 teams. That gives us some more football, some more games, and some more meaningful games. I mean, think about it. I think that would be really, really cool to see some of these teams that don't really get to play each other, whether it be just because of landscape and the way they are. Because a lot of times what happens is, which I think is still good, you end up having a group of 5 team playing a lower Power 5 school, and then it really doesn't matter if they win or they lose, because it's kind of like, well, it was like, well, they were the fourth best team if they beat them, and if they, if they lose, it's like, well, they're supposed to lose. They're not a Power 5 school. So, I mean, it's kind of cool because they get to play against, the big dogs. But, I mean, give them their own thing, man. I mean, that's cool. I mean, the Division II, has the playoff. Every other division besides the college football bowl series, whatever you want to call it, has a playoff. Why not add it in that way? I think that would be great. I think that would be awesome. Now, there has been those arguments that people said, well, hold your horses, and that you don't know what you're going to get into, and then maybe, the big schools, might not want to play these smaller schools anymore. They'll still want to play them. Trust me, after watching that game on Saturday, that opening game between Florida and Miami, that thing was a dumpster fire. All of the turnovers, all of the penalties, all the miscues, good night. Both of those teams, I know if you ask their coaches, would have rather played a small school that they could have beat on and developed their players and worked through things before they actually had to play a tough opponent like that. So I know that they would still love to play those small schools in that. And I know one of the things is that, I mean, Lane Kiffin just came out and said it. The reason why they're playing Ohio State for their first game is money. They need money. That is a payday. I know that for a fact. They used to, for MAC teams, they used to play the Ohio State all the time, and that was a huge payday for them. And the nice thing is they could take a bus to go play in Columbus, so they didn't have to get on a plane, and their cost of shipping their whole team, flying them, they could do it through on the buses on the road, which is so much cheaper. So I get that. I just don't see that leaving, and I think that that brings in more revenue for those group of 5 schools, and I think they can share the revenue between the conferences however they want with that. It's football. If it's exciting, people will watch it. If it's worth something, people will watch it. If people don't think that game has any meaning to it, they're not going to watch it. So if we make it mean something, they'll watch it. And trust me, you get 2 high-flying offenses in there. You get 2 teams in there, and you got a final score like what we had with the Hawaii and Arizona game. They'll watch it. Trust me, they'll watch it. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I think that would be cool. I think that would, bring more intrigue into the sport, and we'd still be able to, sit here and argue over who we think should have got in and who shouldn't have. So that's just my thoughts on the whole, playoff landscape, so to say. And I doubt we'll see anything. I think they've got a contract out through 2025, I think, to have the top team in the group of 5 get into one of the major bowls. So I doubt we'll see anything anytime soon. But you never know. Crazier things have happened. It just depends upon really. Like Lane Kiffin said, it's all about the money. And if the money's there and they can see the money is there, they'll definitely make a change. So anyways, let's see. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think that the college football playoff is good the way it is? Would you like to see something different? Do you have a totally different idea with things than I do? Let me know. Tell me down in the comments. We'll have a discussion about it. We'll see. Anyways, well, I know that you guys are busy, and I know I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You guys have a good night.